Lia Tortilla presents.
Good morning, sunshines. It's me, Lia Tortilla. It's currently 7:30 a.m. as I am filming this. What are you doing up so early on your day off, you say? Well, today I'm showing you how to cook barbecue pulled pork with an apple coleslaw. And the dish itself takes upwards of 7 hours to cook. So I've got my oven on 150 degrees ready and preheating, and this recipe is in 3 stages. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to do that. How exciting! Stage 1, pulled pork. Stage 2, the barbecue sauce. Stage 3, the apple coleslaw. Okay, so we're going to start with our pulled pork, but first we have to build a trivet. And a trivet is basically carrots and onion, and you're going to roughly chop these and put them in the bottom of your tray. Basically, your pulled pork, well, your pork shoulder, it sits on top of this veg. As I was saying, it sits on top of this veg to stop it from sticking to the bottom of the tray, and also it adds flavour to your meat. Right, don't worry about peeling your carrots because there's really no need. You're not going to eat these, not a problem. And you don't have to worry about getting rid of the ends, so you just go in there and chop. Take them, put them in your tray. And then you do the same with your onion. You can keep the skin on, it's not a problem. All the more flavour. There you go, that's our trivet built. So now it's time to put the pork on top. Now it's time to chop my favourite ingredient. Garlic. You want to get this garlic chopped nice and fine because we're going to be rubbing our meat with it in a moment. Once your garlic is finely chopped, it's time to do the same, but to the rosemary. Once you've removed the sprigs of rosemary from the stick, discard of that, start chopping. Rosemary is a bit hard to chop, so you need a really decent sharp knife in order to do this properly. Chop it into the garlic. It's all going in the same place. Once your rosemary and garlic is finely chopped, it's time to sprinkle your pork with paprika. If you want a smoky flavour to your pork, you can always use smoked paprika instead. Now we're going to take our rosemary and garlic mix and we're going to spread it all over our pork. Right, so we add a drop of oil, get our hands all over the pork shoulder, and we rub our meat all nice. And if you want even more flavour, you can always add some more crushed garlic and some more sprigs of rosemary to the bottom of your pan. It all adds loads of flavour. Now we've given our pork a bit of a massage, it's feeling a bit thirsty, so we're going to add some cider. You can add water if you wish, or wine, or a mixture of both, but you add the liquid into the bottom of the tray as it helps the cooking process. It will steam and cook through the meat, adding more flavour, basically. Got 2 cans here. You want to make sure it's reasonably filled. Now we're going to cover our pork shoulder with baking paper and tin foil. This will also help the steaming process so that our meat is nice and tender and very pullable. Pullable? Is that even a word? You know what I mean. You want to make sure that your pork is well covered so all of the steam stays in there all compact. And you want to do the same with the tin foil. I've done it one layer inside the pan, and then I'm going to do one layer outside the pan just to make sure it is fully enclosed. Now that's our pork wrapped up nice and tight, a bit like my Christmas presents. It's time for it to go in the oven for 7 hours or more. Right, now that's stage 1 complete, it's time for me to walk the dog, get ready, then I'll come back and show you how to do some barbecue sauce. There we go, now I'm ready, it's time to show you how to do barbecue sauce. I'm dedicating this part of my dish to my head chef Niall. He's not dead or anything, but I would be if I didn't tell you that this was his recipe, so thanks Niall. So we're going to start by adding a splash of oil into our heavy bottomed saucepan. And then we're going to slice our onion. So top and tail, and in half. Throw away the skin and start chopping. You can do these as rough as you want because at the end they all get blitzed up in a hand blender. So that's, I just spilled some on the floor. It's not good. In the pan. After the onion, what goes next? You've guessed it, roughly chopped garlic. Okay, so once you've peeled your garlic, you're just going to chop it roughly. Remember, it's all getting blitzed up in a hand with a hand blender anyway, so it doesn't matter. That's just chopped, and you throw it in the pan. So in our pan is our oil, onion and garlic. We're going to turn our hob on to a high heat and sweat this down until it's translucent in colour. We can also add some salt and some cracked black pepper. Now we've sweated down our onions and garlic so that they are translucent in colour, it's time to add some paprika. And stir that in really well. Now your paprika is all stirred in, it's time to add the brown sugar. This is what gives the dish that sticky sweetness. As the sugar cooks out, you see it becomes nice and liquid as it's all melting into the onions and the garlic. So now we're going to add some balsamic vinegar. Watch it bubble and reduce. Now we're going to add our ketchup. You can see now that our barbecue sauce is thickening up nicely. We're going to add a dollop of sweet chilli sauce and a nice splash of soy sauce. At my work we use a gluten-free soy sauce just to make sure that our barbecue sauce is fully gluten-free. But this one is not. So you have to go on Amazon or something and get yourself a bottle of gluten-free soy sauce. You stir that in and we just let that thicken a little bit more. So I'd say about 5 to 10 more minutes. Make sure you keep stirring it because you don't want it to catch the bottom of the pan and burn, because then it will affect the entire dish and you'll have to start again. And not only that, it's a pain in the fucking arse to clean. Now that our barbecue sauce is nice and thick, it's time to get out our hand blender. Be careful because it spits and it's very hot and it's very sticky. Just be careful. So we want to blend this now until it's completely smooth. Okay, once you've blended your barbecue sauce till smooth, it's time to strain it into a bowl. Just to make sure you got rid of all of the lumps and bumps. Don't want any wastage. Really tasty sauce. There you go, that's stage 2 complete. Now it's time to move on to stage 3, the apple coleslaw. Time for stage 3, so grab your carrots and a peeler and get peeling the skin. Skinless carrot. Now you've peeled your carrots, time to grab a bowl, grab a cheese grater, and let's get grating. Once we've grated our carrot, it's time to finally slice these onions as thin as you possibly can. There we go. Take it nice and slow with a sharp knife. Now we're going to move on to our cabbage. I had half a cabbage, but I'm only going to use 1/4 of a cabbage because there's only 3 of us and we don't need that much coleslaw. So, you cut your cabbage and you see this here is the core, like an apple core, but it's a cabbage core. Place your cabbage down, get your knife at an angle like that, and you cut out the core. See? You don't want to eat the core because it's tough, it's horrible, it's not very nice, it's bitter and nasty. Now we're going to slice our cabbage as thin as possible, just like with the onion. Now I hope you haven't got rid of that cheese grater, because we need it for our apples. Make sure you remove any stickers from your apples. There you go, sticker free. Place it on your chopping board. We're going to cut it in half, and we're going to cut it in half again. Same to the other side. And we're going to do like we did with the cabbage. I'm going to remove the core free, bin that. Once you've cored your apples, let's get grating. Ooh. Now you've grated all your apple segments. This might sound a little strange. You're going to get a lemon and squeeze the juice all over your grated apple. The acidity in the lemon stops the oxidization of the apple, and the oxidization is when the oxygen gets into the apple and turns it brown. So the lemon juice prevents it from turning brown, because no one wants to eat brown coleslaw, do they? That's disgusting. So juice the life out of those lemons. There you go. And just, mix it all in. Nice fresh looking green apple. I think I made a little bit too much coleslaw. Right, try and remove all the lemon seeds from your apple, because you don't want to bite into one of those. They're very bitter and disgusting, and it will ruin the entire flavour of the coleslaw. So now you can either do this with your hands or get a pair of salad tongs, and you're going to mix your coleslaw thoroughly. I still haven't got a big enough bowl, clearly. I'm going to do it with my hands, might be easier. Tidy up in a minute. Now your coleslaw is thoroughly mixed through, we're going to add our mayonnaise. Now we've mixed our mayonnaise through our coleslaw thoroughly. It's time to add salt and pepper. 1 second. Excuse the bad filming. Salt. And then cracked black pepper. I can't film this with one hand, so you're just going to trust that I did it. Here we go. Now you've got a shot of me cracking black pepper into our coleslaw. And you're going to stir that in. There you go, that's stage 3 complete. All that's left to do is put the dinner together. Can't wait, I'm so hungry. Although, I might want to clean up the kitchen first. It's a bit of a mess. Okay, so the pork has been in for just over 7 hours and it's ready to pull. I turned the oven off about an hour ago and I've let it rest and it's had time to cool, so therefore I will not burn my hands while pulling the pork. Remove the hot fat from the top of the pork. You don't want to eat that, it's fatty and nasty. It's still quite hot actually. And we just go in there and we tear it apart. If it's too hot, like this one is, you can just pull it with forks. Now it's time to put our barbecue sauce and our beautiful bowl of pulled pork together. So we get our saucepan again and we get it nice and warm. And we're going to add our barbecue sauce back to the saucepan. Once we've reheated our barbecue sauce, it's time to add our pulled pork. Stir it in. Can't really do this one-handed, as you see. So keep stirring through your pulled pork and barbecue sauce until it's heated through thoroughly. And then once it's heated, it's time to serve. Now that our pork is heated through, we've got our burger buns and it's time to set the table. It's time to serve up. So we take our burger bun, a nice tom full of our pulled pork, lid, then our apple coleslaw. See, I made far too much. There you go. That's it for another week. This has been Lia Tortilla. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.